Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kircha. Coming up in today's newscast, Iran threatens to raze Tel Aviv to the ground.
The Likud party prepares to face down what may be its biggest scandal yet.
And finally, Israeli superstar Netta Barzilai has just released her latest single, and it has a very important message. Over 100 American service members are suffering from traumatic brain injuries resulting from the Iranian ballistic missile attack in Iraq in January. But now, after the U.S. retaliated with the killing of Qasem Soleimani, Iran is threatening more violence, and Israel may be in the crossfire. Iran is again threatening to raze Tel Aviv to the ground in the event of war in the Middle East. And in fact, the Islamic regime has long been searching for a pretext to attack. How do we know? Well, these are the words of former IRGC Commander-in-Chief Mohsen Rezai, a top politician in Tehran and counsel to Iranian Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In an interview on Lebanon's Hezbollah-affiliated Al Mayadeen TV, Rezai claims that if the U.S. does anything, it's reason enough to attack Israel because of Israel's role in the January assassination of IRGC Quds Force Commander General Qasem Soleimani. Not to worry, though, as Israel says it's prepared. Returning from high-level military talks in Washington, Defense Minister Naftali Bennett claims that Israel and the U.S. have agreed on a coordination in the Middle East, where the U.S. will take Iraq and Israel is taking Syria. Bennett explains that Iran has turned the region into a pipeline for terror, flowing from Iran to Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and beyond. But if you remove a piece of the pipe, then the terror runs dry. And by the way, Bennett adds that Israel has aerial and intelligence superiority in the region, making it a bad place for Iran to be. The United States, meanwhile, has neither confirmed nor denied this coordination, but states that it's still committed to partnerships with Israel and the defeat of terror in Iraq.
Now, while Israel and the United States continue to oppose Iranian influence in the Middle East, Russia is becoming more and more concerned. And here to explain why is Miki Aronson, a fellow at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security and the former senior director of the Israeli National Security Council. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, what are Russia's interests in Syria, and how does that relate to Israel?
Well, Russia's main goal in Syria is to stabilize Assad's regime, and Israeli ongoing attacks are against this interest. Israel has declared again and again it's not going to try and remove Assad from power, but it will do whatever is necessary to prevent Iranian military entrenchment in Syria. So we have two conflicting goals, because if Israel bombs Syria, it is not going to go back to normal life, to routine, to draw investments from the international community. That's the problem.
Now, Russia says that Israel's actions may spark a war. Is this an accurate prediction?
I think Russia is very much afraid because of the fighting that is going on in the north. Russia does not want Israel to disturb the efforts of completing, acquiring the full possession of the Syrian territory by Assad. So Russia is sending messages to Israel not to interfere in a way that would harm Russian and Syrian efforts to regain territory in Syria.
Well, and let's just say, for hypothetical sake, that a war does break out in Syria between Syrian forces and Israeli forces, which would be an awful eventuality. But would Russia take sides in that case, in that eventuality?
It's a very terrifying scenario, because Russia, on the one hand, is friends with Israel, and it is also the patron of Assad's regime. I would like to think that the coordination line, the deconfliction line between Russia and Israel that has Russian-speaking officers on both sides would prevent such a scenario.
Now, how can Israel continue to protect itself and prevent Iranian advancement into Israeli territory without angering Russia?
I'm not sure it can. It can respect Russia, it can inform Russia, but it still has to prioritize its interests. And when it's conflicting with Russian interests, I think coordination is the answer. There's no other answer.
Is there any sort of Is this maybe some sort of lip service? Like, is there an aspect where Russia is maybe saying certain things publicly against Israel's actions, but at the same time they're saying, okay, we understand, and we're not actually going to do anything? Is there a chance for that?
This is very correct. I'm sure they are, but to a certain point, because lately we've seen in the last few weeks, we've seen Russian speakers that say, actually portray the message to Israel, you have to be very, very careful because this is harming our effort. So I would take them seriously. I would listen to the messages they send.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
with this
you.
update. We'll have you back for more, I'm sure, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, just 3 weeks remain before Israel returns to yet another national election, the third in just 11 months. And the Prime Minister's Likud party is now embroiled in scandal, but no, I'm not referring to the indictments against Prime Minister Netanyahu.
It's one of the largest and most dangerous personal information leaks in Israeli history. A petition against the Likud party filed last Thursday is now alleging charges of negligence and serious violations of privacy law, as according to the petition, personal information about every single voting age Israeli has now been leaked, including names, sex, phone numbers, addresses, and available voting habits. And what's worse is that the petition also charges that, at least in part, the leaks were intentional. It all started when the Likud used its access to the official Central Elections Committee voter registry to create a database for its publicly available activist app, Elector. But while the app is meant to collect voting data, a flaw in its so-called sloppy design gave administrator access to the whole list, allowing anyone with a web browser to copy all of its contents. As for alleged intent, well, the Likud campaign has also apparently been publicizing access codes to the Elector app for weeks to mobilize activists and collect information. But that, in essence, gave access to secure information to people who are not cleared to have it. And according to programmer Netta Barzilai, who first reported this leak, never before has there been a leak as absurdly incompetent and as damaging as this one. Adding in an interview with the Kalkalist that, quote, every intelligence agency, foreign government, and even commercial company can now obtain information on every single Israeli individual adult.
Now get this, the last 3 strip clubs in Tel Aviv have officially been shut down. It's actually all part of a government effort to enforce anti-prostitution laws, which consider lap dances to be illegal under certain circumstances.
Say goodbye to the Baby Dolls, Shindu, and Go-Go Girls clubs. They're the last 3 strip clubs to be operating in Tel Aviv, and they've now been shut down as part of the government's ongoing efforts to tackle the exploitation of women. Today, Israeli law doesn't explicitly forbid the exchange of sex services for money, but soliciting prostitution, sex trafficking, and operating a brothel are punishable offenses. In 2018, a bill was passed into law that criminalizes procuring the services of a prostitute, and the law is set to come into effect in mid-2020. That's because the state says they need time to form a rehabilitation mechanism for sex workers to help them find alternative careers. The director of the Task Force on Human Trafficking and Prostitution in Israel is welcoming the decision to close down all of Tel Aviv's strip clubs, saying it's a necessary step after years in which brave women have spoken out about the damage caused to them as a result of being exploited in strip clubs. According to police, lap dances are considered to be illegal under certain circumstances in Israel, and many prostitution-related offenses often take place in strip clubs.
Now this is really heartwarming. A team of Israeli medical professionals have just opened the first ever pediatric laser unit in Haiti to treat children who have disfiguring burn scars.
As we speak, 30 surgeons from across Haiti and the Dominican Republic are being trained to use the Israeli laser system on young patients with life-altering burn scars.
Now, about 80% of pediatric burns in Haiti are caused by rechauds, which are open-flame stoves that many Haitians use to cook their food.
And Israeli doctors from the Israeli National Burn Center and the Sheba Hospital Center for Disaster Medicine and Humanitarian Response have already performed 10 successful laser surgeries on primarily young patients.
Now, one particularly difficult case was actually with a 27-year-old woman who fell into a cooking fire after suffering from a seizure. She was actually so badly burned that the second-degree burns on her eyelids were causing her to go blind, and the burns on her mouth left her unable to eat for months.
Well, despite the risks, the The team from the Israeli Sheba Medical Center worked with local Haitian doctors to perform an emergency service to save both her and her baby.
Now, they've opened the laser unit in Milo, Haiti, which will hopefully continue to save tons of lives. Amazing. It's just amazing what they're doing there. All right, now this next interview is also going to be absolutely amazing. We all want to make a positive impact on our world, and so many of us search for volunteer opportunities to do just that, right? But here's a very, very crazy fact. 64% of service organizations say that they can't offer volunteer opportunities because of lack of funding. Well, one amazing Israeli organization is on a mission to change that, and joining us now in the studio is Aviva Steinberger, the VP of Global Service at Shalom Corps. All right, Aviva, so what is Shalom Corps? Tell us what it does.
Shalom Corps is creating a global Jewish volunteer movement that's going to promote humanitarian activism and social responsibility.
So how are you guys doing that?
So Shalom Corps is partnering with organizations that are already doing amazing work around the world and making an impact with marginalized populations. And we are injecting funding into that market space and helping those organizations to increase their capacities to provide meaningful service opportunities that connect with their Jewish values.
And right now you're injecting $12 million into the field. So we're going to get into what the organizations you're looking for are. But first, tell us a little bit about why this is happening. Who is behind this initiative?
So Shalom Corps was founded by Mosaic United, which is a collaboration with the government of Israel's Ministry of Diaspora and the Jewish Agency. And what the concept is recognizing that there is a need to give diaspora Jewry and Jews around the world a platform for engaging in global citizenry and social responsibility.
Right,
and
it's about tikkun olam, right?
Absolutely.
That's kind of one of the tenets of Judaism, right? Which is any activity that is positive for the world, that's what we should be doing
Saving
as a Jewish
the earth,
people.
yeah. Fixing the earth.
Fixing the
Fixing
earth.
the earth.
Fixing the earth. So tell us a little bit about the organizations that you guys want to partner with. Who are you looking for?
So we're looking for all organizations that are doing volunteer service, and even those that aren't, that are doing humanitarian aid or international development work, that see an opportunity to bring volunteers into their work and provide meaningful added value. And when we talk about meaningful service, we're talking about the kinds of opportunities where they're thinking about the impact of the communities and that are needs-driven, and also organizations that are looking to engage volunteers in a journey that is also looking at reflecting on their Jewish identity and Jewish values and connecting that with the service that they're doing in the field.
Well, this is just so important because I know there are so many young people around the world who are always looking for ways to contribute to society, but they don't necessarily know how to go about doing that. And Shalom Corps is going to be this umbrella organization that's essentially connecting with the right organizations and then helping funnel those volunteers towards them while also creating really unique Jewish programming. If I'm an organization and I want some of this funding, I want some of this money, where can I go?
So if you're an organization that's looking to join our platform where we're going to be doing branding and marketing of this movement, we're going to be activating a platform for alumni and engaging people around activism, go to shalomcorps.org, look at our request for proposals. We're taking applications for our pilot program through March 15th. And we're really excited to work with all the organizations that they can think that can benefit from that.
Yeah, this is a global initiative that is being pioneered, obviously, with the help of the Israeli government.
There's such a need for something like this.
There's such a need for something like this. If you're a young Jewish person who wants to do this, who wants to volunteer, just wait a couple of months until you guys partner with these organizations,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
All right, Aviva, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now get ready, food lovers, because 3D printed plant-based burgers are coming soon to a burger chain near you. That's right, the Israeli BBB Burger franchise has partnered with startup Savor Eat to develop and integrate specialized 3D printers which both produce and cook veggie burgers in minutes. And here now with more on this is consumer behavior expert Dr. Vili Abraham. So first of all, tell us why this is so important. Why do we need 3D printed veggie burgers?
Okay, well, there are two sides to this. First of all, bringing up cow and feeding them and all the industry around it. It provides it supports the livelihoods and the food security of 1.3 billion people around the world. So it means that if we don't produce meat, a lot of people will lose their jobs and food security. However, on the other hand, when you produce meat or one hamburger, you need 15,000 liters of water, 20 kilograms of feed for the cow. It causes a lot of water pollution and deforestation and, of course, climate change as a result of greenhouse effects. So that's why a lot of companies are saying, okay, let's see what we can do about this. And of course, there's also another reason why a lot of people are vegan, either for health reasons or for moral reasons.
Animal activism.
Exactly, animal activism. So there are two things. There's a possibility of manufacturing plant-based hamburgers, which is becoming more and more popular. And another thing is producing hamburgers with printers. And this is truly amazing because it can be done in minutes.
And it cooks it at the same time, which is incredible. Well, and they cook. They don't
and
just print the burger.
Exactly. One of those printers was developed here in Israel in the Weizmann Institute. So we're also leading in that field. So the food has a longer shelf life, a lower calorie content, more fibers. So and it actually looks like the real thing. It's red. It looks juicy, really appetizing, and it tastes just like the real thing.
Well, and it's made, we know it's made with like cellulose and all these plant-based kind of proteins and things like that that come out of it. But okay, so first of all, when do you think this is going to be rolled out, and what can you gather, in terms of market trends from this? How is this going to change the burger market?
Well, the 3D printing aspect of this is very interesting. Are we going to see this happening with more food products?
Yes. In fact, McDonald's has announced a couple of years ago that by the end of this year, they will have 3D printers in their chains. So it means that you will just come and say, I want to Mac something, right? And it just prints out in 3 minutes. And by the way, there will also...
What about jobs? I'm like just thinking about all the jobs.
Listen, this is automation. That's the future.
Well, remember the internet revolution? A lot of people thought that they were going to lose jobs because everything went online, but eventually things balance out.
What else can you tell us about this though? Like, where do we go from here?
Well, the thing is that until now it was very pricey to produce hamburger, printing it or based on plants. But now it's going to decrease to somewhere between $5 and $10 per kilogram, which is reasonable.
Oh, wow.
In the past, to print one hamburger would cost you about $10,000 per kilogram. The other thing,
big deal.
Yeah, and the other thing is producing hamburgers. From taking muscle cell from cows without hurting them. It's called cultured meat or clean meat.
We've been talking about this.
And developing it in the lab. And that's a lot more moral and a lot cheaper these days.
Right. Maybe that's the next phase after the plant-based
That's
printers.
exactly, that's the next phase.
Well, they're already working on that here in Israel, and we've covered it before. So, all right, 3D veggie burgers coming to you soon, and it's good for the earth, and we're excited about it.
And
we're
it's tasty.
And it's tasty.
Very tasty. Really,
all right, thanks for joining us, Vili. All right, if you're considering visiting Israel in the winter but are worried about what you can do in the cold weather, have no fear. It's time for YVT's Beautiful Faces of Israel segment, which is produced by the incredible Inon El-Natan. And we have the scoop on the winter activities that you just can't miss out on.
The Israeli winter is a great time for hiking. We set out to find the recommended tourist destinations for your trip, and without breaking the bank in Israel. Let's start. The first destination is the Sweet Ramon Hotel from the Smart Hotel chain in Mitzpe Ramon. There's nothing like a desert hike in the winter, and Mitzpe Ramon is a perfect destination. Sweet Ramon is a cozy hotel with well-designed rooms and warm and courteous service. The hotel overlooks Ramon Crater, which is the largest aerospace crater in the world. Next destination, Rotem's Gastus Rotem's Desert Life, a combination of simplicity and desert quality, privacy and friendly hospitality, along with modern comfort. You can combine a yoga workshop and a mud building workshop. Next destination, Rural Resort in Cliffview, located in the Arava Lodge. At Nov Zukim, there are 12 spectacular stone cabins which are named after the desert streams and fitted for couples and families. The cabins are located on the hills with surrounding desert views. All cabins are air-conditioned, which allow comfort all year long. Next destination, Castel Winery in the mountains of Jerusalem. In addition to a fascinating tour, there are also wine and cheese tastings at the visitor center. The wine from Castel Winery has won many awards and is sought after in many locations around the world.
I would like to invite you to come and visit the Vendi Castel.
Next destination, Ancient Niot Park.
Is a biblical landscape reserve. Basically, the idea was to take a Bible in one hand, so that as we walk around, we can understand what it was like to live in biblical times. We want to invite you to come to Neot Kedumim and experience the Bible with all your senses.
We're here all year round, and every time you come, there's something different.
Next destination, suitable for families with children.
Welcome to Ruach Shtut, where we grow happy strawberries.
Next destination. At the southern end of Mount Carmel, between Zikron Yaakov and Binyamina, lies Ramat Hanadiv, a natural gem dedicated to the memory of Baron Edmund de Rothschild. Ramat Hanadiv's vision focuses on the creation of sustainable interactions between mankind, nature, and the environment. Next goal? It's time for action. Karting Haifa. There you can enjoy a family experience with some adrenaline. The best karting routes in Israel, simulators and facilities for all ages. Next goal? Keep up the action for the whole family in the Challenge Park. Welcome to Balagan. There the children will be able to enjoy a park and a variety of facilities for all ages. Next destination, Batya and Calwood Suites in the Ayin Hod Artists Village.
My name is Batya. My husband's name is Claude. I invite everyone to come visit us, stay with us, enjoy our spirit, our beautiful Zimmerim, our beautiful gardens. Everything that I put into the studio, each unit is designed to be very, very original. We wait to see you.
Minutes from Ayin Hod from Matthew are our last destination for today. The Experience of Riders located in Beit Oren.
Hi, I'm Ido from Chavet Arofim in Beit Oren. In the ranch we have horseback riding, we have an ATV tour. Laser tag.
Thank you for being with us. We will soon find more new destinations in Israel's beautiful landscape.
I can't believe how many activities and places I just saw that I never knew about.
Yeah.
I live here.
I know,
Like,
and this is such a
weird.
tiny little country that you think you know
Right.
every corner here, but
even
that is why
close.
we have this segment. Now, for those of you who want to check out more videos like this about where to travel in the Holy Land, go to www.tbf-news.com and download the app Why Travel. We'll be back next week with more. All right, now the winner of the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest, Israeli pop star Netta Barzilai, has just released her latest song, and it's taking aim at the quick fix culture in the United States.
Absolutely, and let me tell you, the music video is something you have to watch more than once. ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh has all the details.
That's the massive Israeli hit Toy that led to Israel's big win in the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest and made Israeli star Netta Barzilai an international sensation. Her anthem became a source of self-empowerment for all those independently minded women out there, which is probably why all of her songs since have a common theme: promoting self-confidence. And her latest song and music video is hard to keep your eyes off. Ricky Lake is the name of her most recent release, which hits back at America's instant gratification culture. In a world where social media and societal standards run our lives, Barzilai feels that we all look for those quick fixes to make us happier. She says her new song is meant to tell us to listen to our gut feeling and not the rules of society.
I told you it was something you gotta watch more
I
than
know.
once.
I just love Netta Barzilai's music videos, and this one is, you just can't keep your eyes off of
Very
it.
creative and colorful.
I know.
at the
Well,
very
that's her
least,
style,
yeah.
guys. I mean, it really is. All right, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Now, tonight should still be pretty cold with clouds, light showers, and a low of 48 or 9 degrees Celsius. And then tomorrow you can expect more clouds and scattered rains, but with a slight rise in temperatures to high of 63 or 17 degrees Celsius. And now, before we go, let's take a look at what is going viral in Israel.
This is
when your friend tries to make you join them in eating healthy.
So true.
This is my life. I don't want it. I don't want it. I just want burgers and donuts and all the things.
Well,
that
now
I
you can
want.
have a 3D printed burger.
That's true.
And it's vegetarian.
Okay,
All right.
that's actually a very good
There
point,
you go.
Aaron.
All right, so that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.42 shekels to the American dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube and Roku TV pages. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kirchuk. Thanks for watching.